appreciated. So what are you up to at the moment? Are you you're in the middle of a tour, are you?
We're in the middle of some European stuff, and then we've got to go back to the States and do some stuff that we had to blow out when the hurricanes swept through wherever it was, the Midwest. Or
Where were you then? Were you over there, or?
We were in Houston one of the nights when it happened, and loads of people were coming in from New Orleans, and there's like kind of Atlanta. There's traffic everywhere. It was just.
Was it hairy at all in Houston, or?
It was. I mean, I tell you what, there was a load of flying bugs, wasn't there? Like huge things, man. That obviously. There was they've been tipped off. Yeah, yeah. Well, they kind of. That's when they knew there was big storms coming, because all the big. I remember getting into an hotel room, and I opened the door, and there's this big thing. You know, like when you see big cockroaches. Well, it was twice the size of that, and it was like. I mean, I'm not squeamish about things like that. I just usually go and volley it across the room. Even I was like,
well, it's like a locust or something.
Massive.
I might have to phone reception for that one.
Because over there, I mean, I've been down to Houston before. It's quite humid, all that south, that south coast.
But it was the thing that got me was just there was people checking into hotels with their worldly belongings, and they'd left their house and they were kind of preparing never to see it again.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
So I mean, are you still enjoying touring? It's just that, I mean.
Well, I enjoy. Yeah, I tell you what, the funny thing was, it was I think about 2 months ago. We were going, how long have we been on the road now? We worked out it was 7 months, and I was going. God, it's been really. It's gone really quick, and it's really easy. It was really good fun. Since the next morning after that, I've been like. Can't wait to get out of here, like, go on. But I like the first half. We've got till March left, and not that it becomes a grind, but when Let There Be Love come out at Christmas, and then we had a month off, that kind of felt like a definite end.
Yeah.
And then we've just got to go back and do stuff that we should have done earlier in the year, and we've got to go out to Korea.
It's those sort of things, I imagine, are the drag. And it's not that you don't want to travel and stuff, but you've been going for quite a while now. And have you got kids again?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, my mates that travel in my game, it's just you're never away for that long. You're away for maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And now my friends are starting to have kids, and they're finding it quite difficult because you just miss your family so much.
Well, I don't mind. The things like America and Europe and Britain and Australia and Japan, they're like proper tours, right? So you've got like fans that you've had for years and years. Things like going to Korea and Singapore, they're one-off gigs, and it's, you know, a Western band coming in, and it kind of does, it just, you go in, you do it, and you go out, and you spend more time in the air getting there and back than you actually do it in the country itself.
I suppose the first time you do it's a bit of a novelty as well, and then...
Yeah, but then you get the check at the end of it, and you go like, I get it in.
There's the novelty.
Yeah.
So, Gem, how are you enjoying it? You've been in the band a while now, haven't you?
Man, this has been the best tour, I think, for me anyway, definitely. And like you're saying, like the different segments, like America was the best thing ever for us. It went in the blink of an eye for me, and it was with Jet and Kasabian, and it was all these sort of memorable venues as well, you know. I mean, we've done, like, you know, Madison Square Gardens and you know, the Hollywood Bowl and stuff like that, which is, you know, when you're a little 19-year-old punk rocker, you just, you know, you're never in your wildest dreams in a way. So yeah, it's blown me away, man.
America's a mad one, isn't it? Because it's those Midwest gigs that would freak you out. Those playing in Cleveland and places like that.
Everything outside of everything between New York and LA. It's constantly Wednesday afternoon, 1973, and everything looks shut to me. And you can only get into trouble. That's all you can do is. I mean, because nobody drinks in the day over there anyway. If you've got a day off, and more often than not, we'll all go out for a drink, and it's just.
And the signs are literally baseball caps must be worn forward, shirts must be tucked in.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike, was funny. He said that my friend he was over there in thinking Denver or somewhere, and he just sort of got up, and he had a shaved head, and he got up and he was just travelling. He went out for some breakfast. And he was just crossing the road, and this guy in a sort of flatbed went past and looked at him, and because he had a skinner, he just looked at him, shouted out the window, "Faggot!" He was like, "I've got to go. I can't stay here anymore. This is extraordinary."
The Midwest is funny, but I mean, New York is great always, and the big cities are cool, but there's like odd little places that you go to that are quite weird.
Yeah, the perpetual bank holiday.
Has it been? I guess it must have been different since Gem and the guys have joined the band. Has it been like a shot in the arm creatively as well?
Yeah.
From the album, you wrote what, 5 or 6 songs?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gem and Andy joined at the end of Standing on the Shoulder Giants when we were mixing that, and then all that tour was great. Because it was new people in the band, and the songs sounded better somehow. And then when we made Heathen Chemistry, and we all and it's not so much the contributing of songs, it's the kind of it's the somebody saying, yeah, you're not playing that right, I'll play it, which is has never kind of happened to me. Do you know what I mean? And it's the contributing of ideas for songs as well. And the proof is in the record, really. You know, and it's been brilliant. Really,
is that
really
a football team signing a new player, I suppose? Is it, or?
Yeah, no, it was great. And then, fortunately or unfortunately for us, whichever which way, we've always had a healthy turnover of band members, and that kind of keeps it moving on. You know what I mean?
But it must be good to have people in there that are that are perceived to be and are genuinely creative forces as well as you, that like you said, I mean, I read about it, contributing arguments and things like that, because especially seeing as though from the outside world the band's seen as still very much defined by you and your brother.
Yeah, but I think that's always been the case anyway. You know, Bonehead used to always say, oh, it's, back in the day, you know, it's all about the brothers, you know, and we were like, well, there's not a lot we can do about that, you know, say something funny or put a wig on. You know, other than that, sit down and be quiet. But I think it's always been like that, and that's just, I suppose, me and Liam's the most photogenic, and I guess I'm the most quotable. Nobody else. But I wouldn't wish that kind of thing on any of these anyway.
That's what I always say. I get the best of both worlds, man.
Well, he can still walk around Crouch End, you know, in his underpants, buying, you know.
Let's making Keith in it or whatever. If you look at all the dynamics of or whatever, it will all come out in the wash.
Yeah.
In the annals of rock and roll.
But that's the thing, because when I was little, I mean, I wanted to be Terry Wogan, and you know, and in
you wanted to be Terry Wogan.
Yeah, and I still do.
Because he's just saying that to be weird, isn't he?
But I did, but when you get a bit older, you realise, and you know, and you get there's a little bit of sort of people recognise you in the street. I just look at people such as yourself, and I just think, God, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, because to not be able to walk down the street must be quite weird.
I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I read things that people in interviews saying, oh, you know, it gets that bad for me that I can't go, you know, to buy a pint of milk with that. And it's like, well, you can. You know, you can. You just don't. If you don't allow yourself to go out and live a normal life, then you turn into an Elton John type character. Now, where I live, when I moved in there, for the first 3 months, there was the ripple of you know, people tugging each other on the cot. Every time I used to go to the Waitrose to get the papers and the milk, but you know, you just got to ride that out. And now it's everyone's just like cool with it where I live. Yeah. You know, and I don't really mind it. You know. And
has it been good for you, sort of coming on in terms of, I guess when you first joined the band, there was a little bit of do I join in this conversation? Do I join in on this argument? And then after a while, so it's like, I mean, if you join a new group of mates, isn't it? When you
of course. It's like joining a new school, isn't it?
Then you start piping up after a while.
Well, yeah, you know, there's only so many times you can get your lunch flushed down the bog, you know what I mean? Your coke nicked.
Okay, let's have a live track. So over